We've spent years doing everything for our kids, but now that they're teens, the most powerful thing we can do is to simply learn how to be. Today, we're going to learn how to become a beacon for the teens in our life through silence, self inquiry, and soul led parenting. Hi everyone, my name's Ben. I am a teen life coach, substitute teacher, and shamanic practitioner. As kids begin to get older and become adolescents, they pull away, which is a wonderful opportunity for self transformation, both for the teen and for the adult. I combine my spiritual wisdom with real time classroom experience to help you move through friction to flow. In my videos, I help you become a beacon for your teen through 3 parts: a guided meditation, personal story, and a tarot card reading for deeper insight. Keep in mind, this is best done in a quiet environment where you can relax and dive in. So now, let's go ahead and do that. One more quick thing before we start. As I mentioned, I use the tarot in this podcast. It's not necessary to have the visuals. You'll still get a lot out of it, and the messages will come through loud and clear. But if you want to have the visuals of the cards, I'm using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. And the 3 cards that come up in today's readings are the 2 of Wands, the 3 of Wands, and the Empress. So if you have a deck at home, you can pull out those cards. The visuals may help you. If you still want to see them, but you don't have that deck, you can just Google search Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. And again, 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands, and the Empress. All right, it's going to be a good time. Let's go. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. It's December 16th in the year 2025, and I'm on here for this nightly meditation to reflect on the day. So I'm just going to invite us to start dropping in together. I'm going to light a little Palo Santo while I do that. So I encourage you to, if you have any smudging, sage, Palo Santo, or any other herbs that you'd like to burn at this time to cleanse the energy. Take some time. You can hit pause too if you need to clear the energy in your space. I'm going to invite us just to sit gently. Relax the jaw, relax the face and the neck, and just feel the tension begin to drop away. Let yourself be guided to breathe through the nose into the belly, feeling the belly expand through the front, the side, and back of body. Feel that breath move into the hips, the legs, the feet, and the toes, and just ground and connect ourselves with the earth. As we breathe to come into our being, I'm here with a message to help parents learn how to grow and guide their teens during the period and time of adolescence. It's a time where we lead more by being. It's not as much what we do with our children anymore, but how we show up for them, how we are, how we allow ourselves to be. They will want to pull away from us, start leaving and leading their own separate lives. So we might not be able to do as many more activities. The doing comes in as far as structure and discipline, because as they are going to experience new freedoms, we have to make sure that they do it safely. So that's where the doing comes in. But all the talks, all the things we'd love to say, all the results we'd like to see from them, this is the time now where we can't do as much directly with our children as we did when they were little. And now it's the essence where we have to learn how to teach from the place of being. So just breathe and let yourself be. Feel yourself as a tree supported by Mother Earth. Your feet, your tailbone just growing roots descending into the ground, as if there's roots spreading from your fingertips too going into the earth. Those brown and tan colors of the earth. Feeling the coolness of the stones. And just that nourishment of Mother Earth that allows all things to become possible, for all things and so many life forms to grow. Don't feel that it's just your teen that is growing now. You are growing now too. Let yourself be nourished. Just take this moment, if there's anything that you're carrying with you from the day, any stress points. They may circulate. There might be deeper layers that need to be seen, so don't expect them to go away immediately, but just let Mother Earth take as many stress factors that are not here to serve us. The things we can let go of that are just distractions. Let Mother Earth absorb those now. Taking gentle, deep breaths into the abdomen. Maybe focus on extending the exhale a little bit longer. And then feel the breath lift up into the heart center now. Feeling the chest rise. Like the heart is like that part of the tree where the branches begin to extend out from the trunk. And just like the branches want to explore the sky and the world around it, your heart does too, always receiving and giving messages from the world around us. And just feel the infinite possibilities of the heart. In that beat of the heart, how it's giving to us all the time. Moving blood through our body, moving prana, chi, vital life force energy, beat by beat by beat. Keep breathing. Keep listening. Where does your heart want to grow? As the branches begin to grow up into the sky, into space, feel lightness now. As the branches extend from the heart center, like all the arteries and aortas and all those parts. Feel the light of the sky, of the heavens, of the sun descend upon the crown like it's kissing the leaves of your tree, the neurons now of the brain, of the mind. Feel yourself become lighter as you're filled with light above. Maybe seeing blues and greens and white, maybe purple and violet. And feeling that earthly color, the tan, the brown, the gray, the stones at the feet. And just feel yourself as a perfect vessel, Remember how precious and amazing it is to have a human body, to have this human life. Remember that you are a vehicle to connect with the stars above and the earth below, a vessel to allow all things possible to be experienced and to be lived. Remember that your child is that too. And we must remember that we are the more developed tree. So it's time to step back and to listen. And just be the fullness of what we are. We probably lose that in our lives as we busy ourselves with family and with work. Taking this moment now and just recognize yourself as a unique, beautiful tree, an extension of God. Remember that you are a child of the divine creator. Let go of the pressure that you have to be some magnificent, all-knowing, powerful source for your child. We too are children of God who make mistakes, who slip up, who fall. And when we fall, can we get up laughing? And if we cry, can we not cover our tears? And just let yourself drop into the essence and your being of your humanity. And just reflect back on your day. Was there a moment that really stood out for you of growth with your child? Or maybe it was a point of mistake or confusion, of fear, of worry, of doubt, whatever it may be, and just feel into that. And I want you to carry the wisdom of the tree that you are now, and this beautiful expression of the divine as a child of the divine. And that innocence and open heart, just let yourself explore that moment. If you're a little lost, you can just listen as I share. The moment that is standing out for me today is when I picked up my fiance's daughter from school. She's a junior in high school. Usually these are the times where I'm finally with her in a one-on-one situation, and I have this deep call to share the things that have been on my mind that I'd like to express with her, but I don't normally get to say. And I'm being more mindful, not to overburden her. These might be talks that are important to have, but I have to learn to pace myself, allow myself to hold back, that not everything needs to be said. When something needs to be said, we'll know it. There'll be like a burning. It'll be at the back of our throat. If we breathe deep, and then that burning then drops to our stomach, but then says, I still need to come up, then we know, okay, that is a truth that needs to be spoken or a question that needs to be asked. But if we breathe deep and really feel that I don't have to say anything. And for me, this was a moment where I embraced silence. I asked the simple questions. How was your day? How was your weekend? And if I look back, maybe I didn't even need to ask those questions. But I'm going to give myself credit for allowing more silence. And that there will be an awkward silence now with our teens at times. Although conversation is important, it's becoming a lost art. So we want to make sure we still encourage that. But then there'll be times just to allow each of ourselves to just be silent, to be who we are with each other. Now the teens just lost in this soup of what they are. They're in more of a state of not knowing and of questioning, but doing so fearlessly. They're learning to become who they are, so they're not attached to this idea that they have to protect as much. They can be more blunt, letting go. Their fear mechanism isn't as strong. But then us, the adults, actually just being can be more hard because we have a more defined sense of who we think we are, having a stronger sense of ego, where we can become defensive. And I feel like I have to say something and to assert myself, to share these points with you, or make sure we're on the same page, or teach you a lesson, because that will make me feel like I am the father figure. Labels, names, and forms. Is it really a lesson that needs to be taught? Or maybe now is not the time. And I took a moment just to sit in silence. And instead of saying something or asking something, I just allowed myself to repeat my mantra. Om Mani Padme Hum. It's a Buddhist mantra that brings us back to the essence of pure consciousness. Om Mani Padme Hum. Allowing myself to just be an empty vessel. And at times, that's what's really important. It's important for us to allow ourselves to be empty vessels too. That we're all on this eternal journey of exploring who we are. And our teen, they might even have more incarnations in this dimension, in this realm. They might be what's called an older soul than us. So just because I have 25 years on them, so I have more wisdom now at this point in my life. In the long term, once they mature, I might not. I might be raising a great teacher. So I have to take this time just to allow myself just to be an open vessel, to let go of the pressure of having to be anyone, not have to be the stepdad, not have to be the teacher, just be. Because ultimately, I think that's what a lot of teens are looking for. I think they're looking for adult guidance where the adults aren't trying to be anything, because they're so stressed out with the image, fitting in, having to play different roles themselves, that they don't know who or what to be, and they're exploring. And they don't want anyone telling them what to do or how they have to be. So if they can be in the presence of an adult who's secure and safe, but also embraces the unknown of emptiness, of just Om Mani Padme Hum, I could feel that although there was some tension at first because we weren't talking, in that silence, there developed what I feel was a new level of comfort. That we can just be silent together and nothing needs to be said. So that you can just be whatever or whoever you are on any given day. And for me, as the soon-to-be stepdad coming into this relationship and dynamic, that's the quality that I really need to work more than anything. It's that pure essence of being. Allowing myself to be filled with emptiness and the unknown, holding back on my words, holding back on the pressure to fulfill any role. And just allow myself to let go and trust in God and trust in the divine. Trust that God brought me here and that divine source will inspire me to speak when words need to be spoken and be silent when nothing needs to be said. And just letting go of the reins to let spirit guide this. So if nothing's coming through in that car ride, don't say anything. Don't do anything. Don't make this about the ego of trying to force a bond. Trust that we're all connected through the one Creator. And we have to trust in that and begin to let Creator take the reins. As we embrace the unknown of this human life, we see that the teenage years are a confusing time. If we're thinking or trying to question or understand everything, then all of life is confusing because at one point our understanding falls short. And we just have to let go and surrender to being. And in that being, we receive the messages from divine. We receive the inspirations that inspire us to do and to take action. But we have to let go first to receive that. So for me, today was a receiving day, a being day, an embracing of the unknown and silence. So I encourage all of you right now to take the pressure off if something didn't go well. Or maybe something did go well. Don't attach to that moment because things are going to be different a minute later, an hour later, a day later. You know, if we had those triumphant moments, there's going to be moments of failure down the road. So let's not attach to those either. So now I invite you to take this moment to sit and allow yourself to be. Really settle into that essence that you are a child of God, that you are an open vessel who's exploring and learning. And may that energy of wonder transpire to your beloved adolescent or teenager. Okay, so thanks for joining me in that meditation of just being. And next, I'm going to use some cards. I'm going to draw some cards from the tarot deck to just get a little insight, maybe if there's something that came up more specifically for you that you want some clarity with. I'm just going to pull these cards, and for those who are new or unfamiliar with the tarot, I don't look at it as a fortune-telling tool for myself. It's just a way to read the energy of the consciousness, the energy of the room, the moment. So everything happens outside of space and time. So if you're with me now, even though I'm making this at a different point in time and space, if you're receiving it now, it's as if it was always meant to be. And this time and space is relative, so I do look at it as if you are with me right now in this present moment. So this meditation today was more focused on how to just be with our teens. How to just be with ourselves, to remind ourselves that we're children of God, to let go of having to be the expert, having to be the adult, setting those rules and structures. We have to have this innocence and take off the pressure of feeling like we have to be these all-knowing beings for them. We have to remind ourselves that although we're the adults in the situation, we're not God, we're not omnipotent, we're not omniscient. So we got to take that pressure off as if we have all the answers and solutions for them. And it really is just getting into a relaxed state of being to guide them through our open humanity. So, not always easy to do. So, if that theme of being is resonating with you, these cards are here to guide us, but we need to see around that theme of just being our full, authentic self with them. How do we be our full, authentic self? Meaning in relying on silence at times, so they begin to trust us. Because if we're like these all-knowing, I know everything, I set the rules, I have all the wisdom and knowledge, they're not going to trust that. They're going to want to push away from that. So we have to be open vessels so they feel safe coming to us, so that we can question and learn together. So let's pull some cards to see what that might have to reveal. Okay. First card. Okay, so I'm coming up with 3 of Wands. All right, 3 of Wands is... trying to find the right way to angle it so it shows it best in the camera. Probably if I hold it right in front of my face. There we go. So 3 of Wands, you see here there was a man looking out. In fact, I'll hold it right up in front of my face. There's a man looking out over this golden ocean with ships a sail. I think what's really important about this card is that, Wands connects to fire, it connects to inspiration. And yet, this person is not in motion themselves. This person is at a standstill. Again, I think this is just a reminder of being, but it's like active being. Because Wands, 3 is stable, but it's not as stable as 4. Not as complete as 10. So this sense of being we have to embrace, it still has life to it. Okay? I think this is where people struggle. If I just do nothing, I'm not going to inspire them. I'm not going to be motivated. No, it's about you have motives, you have passions, but we don't have to act on them like all the time.
maybe things are already set in motion. And that's another thing too, because the reason why I chose to be silent in this moment is because I already had like a big talk recently. And then after the big talk, I had to have a little clarifying thing because some things were said that created some confusion and I wanted clarity. So I already did that, and it's been a lot. So there's this feeling of, oh, did I say enough? Because we're not going to see the immediate results in our teens generally from like these important conversations. This is a big like planting seeds time. All right. So in this too, if you look at it, the ships are out at sea. It's almost like the dream, the vision, it's been cast out. Those words have been said. Those conversations have been had. Right? And they're on their way. They're going to a new horizon. And it's just like our teens, like they're going to a new horizon. They're on their way. They're going on a lift. They have a different life path for us. And I think that's the real important thing too. Is that it's important to speak our truth, but not all our wisdom is what they need to hear at the same time. And we have to learn when to hold back and not to speak, because I don't want to overburden them. I don't want to, I know we always say, I don't want to push my kids away. But it's learning to trust. I don't have to speak all the time, because this truth that I have might be more the message I need for myself. So maybe I need to stand on shore to really let that reside within me and see that they're on a different trajectory. They're moving to a new horizon. And there'll be times where like, I'm going to go on that horizon with you. You know, like if you had a child that was like a star athlete and you had to travel with them and go to their sporting events and maybe invest a lot of money, and like, you got to go on that way. But maybe they're an artist and you're not an artist. So give the encouragement, but then trust like some things we don't have to hover around them. We don't have to be with them for everything, you know, and trust that they're safe and the boats are strong. Okay. But still having that love and that inspiration and that passion. Okay. So they're off on their way on the boats. And we have to ask ourselves, like, okay, what is it then that like I'm passionate about for myself as well? What is that fire indicating? Because my fire is not dependent on them anymore. They're on their way, going out to sea. So let's maybe give some insight with that with the second card. So this is really cool. So now I'm pulling up the Empress, and I'm being called just to do all upright card readings. I'll do reverse readings another time. So here we have this very feminine figure sitting on her throne. Verdant colors. Yellow representing the sun, but not the sun in the harsh desert sun, but the sun that brings fertility. We have wheat growing, the sign of Venus, and the 12 zodiac stars upon her crown. Okay, so the Empress represents the divine feminine energy of fertility, almost like it's the inception of all new things to come forth. But it's a receiving, the feminine is a receiving energy, because she's able to receive so much. Okay. Then it's almost like anything is possible because she's open and receiving. So I think like the call from this card as we are working with our kids is asking us right now that it might not be a time of action, and that it's a time of reception. It's a time to just really like listen, receive where they're at, receive where I'm at in my life, and trusting that although we have these difficult moments that are going to come up and the challenges, what is growing? Don't forget that with all these new challenges that may come in this time of life, you did plant seeds through their childhood that are now probably flourishing in some ways, but you might not be noticing those as much because perhaps you've taken those attributes for granted by now. And because of the new challenges and transformations they're going through, you might be more focused and caught up on that. So don't forget to see like the wonder and the beauty of like everything they are. And if you feel, particularly at myself, the person who has to assume the masculine energy of the house, having to be a little more distant, setting rules, form, structure, I'm the one to remind you of doing the dishes. Reminders of the chores. Or because I'm the step parent, sometimes it's more like I have to tell my partner to tell the child, learning those boundaries. So if you're with that more masculine energy, maybe this is the invitation to allow ourselves to be a little more feminine. The world is really intense right now. So if you're the more excitable, like Mars energy, and you just want to like take action and make stuff happen and create change, might not be so patient. Okay. I'm definitely going to I have an important story for another episode on patience. That this is the time of patience. And probably in order to really receive our teens, we have to receive ourselves more. I know for myself, I could focus on so many things that aren't going right. Focus on what doesn't feel complete. But there really is. I have to remind myself and say it right now, if you want to say it with me, like, I'm an amazing person. Don't be afraid to just say that out loud right now. I'm an amazing person. And don't even let your mind go on the things that need improving. Just like this card is having this abundance of the earth all around her, may you take this moment to just feel the abundance. I know that's an overused word. And it might not feel abundance, but it might not feel abundant because we haven't been focused on, how beautiful we really are. But if you can see like one good thing that you've done recently, or just see whatever small trickle of beauty there is just moving through your life. When we focus on that, when we give it attention, it grows and then it becomes abundant. Doesn't mean we're not abundant. We just lost it a little bit. So we have to come into our own garden to really provide for ourselves. I know that as the parent of a teen, there's going to be a call to want to connect with the child as much as you used to before this stage of their life. And you can't as much and have to let go of the reins. And that this feeling of fulfillment, it can't come from them as much. And you might be left seeking that. When you're more in the step parent role like myself, what happens for me is that I'm looking to kind of fit in, looking for that validation, looking for that acceptance to say hey, I'm a good person and you can trust me. Or if things go a little haywire, I can get this over aggressive masculine energy that is new for me because I'm I got to protect the women in my house, which is true. Okay. They have to have a safe house. But it's looking to get a feeling from the relationship to feel whole with the child. And that's what we have to begin to let go of. And the relationship now that's going to come into play And if I could just even go back to the Three of Wands, is that there's a holy kind of trinity that happens. Is that instead of like getting the fulfillment from this direct connection and relationship, I'm going to really allow myself to feel completely fulfilled by who and what I am, by who and what I'm doing, even if all my dreams haven't come true yet. Or maybe I'm not living the ideal life that I really see for myself. But I'm going to allow myself to have that feeling now, to feel fulfilled. And just trusting in the energy of being that the teen is going to feel that too. And that is energetically going to set them up to feel fulfilled for themselves, because ultimately that's what you want. You want a child that's autonomous. Because if we have a teen that is developing attachment issues to us, eventually as they get older, those attachment issues can shift to a partner in an unhealthy way. So we have to make sure that we are demonstrating healthy attachment, not relying on my attachment to others for my state of well-being. And we still need others, we still need friends. So it's about then choosing the relationships that support me in my self-fulfillment. Because that's really what the Empress is. If we look at her again here, just sitting on her throne, completely fulfilled, completely relaxed. And I talked about that energy of the three, so then you have you becoming self-fulfilled to lead your teen to be more self-fulfilled. And here's the thing too, your teen, they're a different generation. They're growing up with way more knowledge about psychology, about trauma, about healing than we did. So really take a step back. Maybe they're the one that actually might be more self-fulfilled than myself. And is it a moment where I actually need to learn from them? Just putting that out there. But if we can both then set that tone of being, of self-fulfillment, of silence, feeling fulfilled with just my mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, and then that guides them to do the same, then what happens is, right, when we have two energies, okay, got the Empress and the Three of Wands. All right, if they're too overlapped, so if like you and your child are too overlapped, there's no room for spirit to come through. There's no room for God. And this platform that I'm creating is for those of us who trust in a higher force, in a higher power, and that trust that everything is happening for a reason under the dominion of the one creator, of God. So if we're too overlapped with another person, the essence of God, or I should say more, the essence of the Holy Spirit can't get through. But if we're separate, give space so that God can flow through, so that divine can flow through, so that we can both, us and our team, then be uplifted and then have this very deep and profound connection. That doesn't need to be fully talked about or recognized. It just is. So the essence, what I'm called to is to draw one more card to lean into that third dimension of the Holy Spirit. So we have this fire energy, Three of Wands, Empress, the earth, deep, powerful, the essence of earth itself, and then where we led in the Holy Spirit. So again, interesting too that what comes up is Two of Wands. So even if we look here, what's interesting is that the person is between these two wands. Okay, one is at home and one is out in the world. He's holding it and putting it upon the top of this small castle that they seem to live in, with the globe looking out at the new world. It's a card that represents dreams. So it's interesting that this comes in between the 3 and the Empress. Okay, 3 of Wands. So there's definitely a power of 3 here, okay, because then we have the Empress, who is number 3 in the major arcana, right? The essence of 3, even in the 2 of Wands, that there's the person between the 2 wands. And they're dreaming. So the message then to allow the Holy Spirit to come through is making the dreams. This represents once the dreams have already been made and then kind of seeing them go off into the world. So this would represent that there, in the 3 of Wands, there's been some completion. Dreams, projects have been set in motion. And your teen might be on their way with some stage right now. So to let the Holy Spirit in, I feel like it's going back to the 2. Okay, I'm just going to hold up that one card. I feel like we're going, no, that's not the one. So I feel like we're going back to the 2 of Wands. Okay. Because Spirit is now asking us to take a step back, to allow the Holy Spirit to come through and to dream once again. That it's not saying go forward, go on that mission, go on the ships with your teen. It's not. It's saying take a step back, go back into your castle. See, the 3 of Wands, you can see those hills and mountains in the background. So the 3 of Wands self, it's up on those hills. It's watching its teen go off in the world. So maybe you're a parent right now and your child is off at college. And you want to just know what they're doing all the time. And you're feeling that separation and you might be on the edge of a cliff. And sometimes the 3 of Wands can represent uncertainty. Like, do I stay here? I'm confident, but am I dreaming out, looking out at the ocean? Should I be going? Should I be moving to be closer to my kids? And the essence to allow that abundance to flow through, to get us back in touch with our divine powers of the feminine, of abundance, of growth, that we need to go back into the home. Just take a moment to really dream. And to dream for ourselves. And really, really reflect. What are my dreams right now? Because the thing about teenagers is that this person's looking at the world. This is not the time in their development where they're really thinking as much about how they're going to move out and connect into the world. It's more about who am I as I relate to other individuals and the groups and relationships that I form. So it's much more focused on social engagement. The Holy Spirit is telling us to dream, to revisit how you see the world, or what's the world that you want to create. And take time to be alone. Take time for solitude. To stay put and just dream. And have fun dreaming. that will get us back in touch with that childlike innocence that we've lost. The teenage years, it's like becoming toddlers again. New growth, development, wild thoughts, feelings. And there is that lost innocence, but there's that innocence also too, in this wildness, speaking their mind, saying things just off the cuff, wild slang, 6'7". Right. But can we allow ourselves to go back to that first big, growth of mind, of thought, of expression, of absorption of those toddler years between 0 and 3, where life really was like a dream. We're in that dream state of like really early adolescence, of playfulness, of having fun, without even having to have fun in a way like we weren't stressed about something that was, I gotta have fun because this week was stressful, so Saturday comes, now I gotta have fun. Just like the whole time was just wonder and awe. Now, when you get in that state, your teen might start saying like, Mom, Dad, what are you doing? Like, you're ridiculous. Yeah, you are. Like, you're ridiculous too. Take a load off if you've been stuck playing that kind of rigid parent role or stressing a lot. Now, I know there's probably parents out there who are maybe facing more serious issues, ones that could be very dangerous that your teens might be exposing themselves to. And I know that can be hard to, like, how can I relax at a time when I do have just cause to be worried? And the only advice that's coming through is that if they're acting out in ways that are harmful or hazardous or just painful, it's because there's some pain in them. There's a pain, there's a stress, there's an anxiety. And although we'll feel that deeply, we have to do whatever we can not to allow ourselves to also sort of minimize the anxiety for ourselves, because if we're in that state of fear and anxiety, they're in that and they can't get out either. And we're both in this trap together. So if you can allow yourself to daydream, if that means just like journal, writing a bucket list, if it means taking a psychedelic, I'm not, saying that's what you have to do. If you can take on a nature walk, smell the flowers, watch just like a really inspiring movie that really like moves you in a deep way. Whatever it means to dream for you. Because that's going to allow your neural networks to expand and open. And when the neural networks expand and open, then it gives you a framework to see things from a different angle, to approach the situation in a new light, so that you then can get that vision, like, oh, I've been stressed because there's a solution, there's a way, God's been providing me something. God's been providing me an answer or a way to handle this, and I've been missing it because I haven't been allowing the ability to dream, to connect with the Holy Spirit. But because I've done that, then again, too, everything's a cycle. You're going to come back to another 3 of Wands stage, feeling more stable, more out there in the world. You're going to find your way back to that mountaintop to be able to send your teen off in a new and healthy direction. So with that essence of new and healthy direction, I don't know if you can hear it right now, but my fiance just came home. I can hear the dog collar clanging out there. And just everything's in that synchronistic flow. You know, she's my goddess. And this card of the Empress represents this. Now I can even hear like the cat like hacking up a hairball, I think, in the background too. Something. You know, that's that everyday life. But the Empress is like, okay, I can hold space for it all. You know, all those daily distractions. You know, life, it's not going to be perfect. But can we see everything that maybe seems lifeless, like a dead leaf, as something that can be used for fertility, to disintegrate and create new life? May we all join one another to keep creating new versions of ourselves as we change, along with our teens as they continue to evolve and create new versions of themselves. It's a beautiful experience to be a human being. So once again, I invite you to close your eyes, relax the jaw, and just take a few gentle breaths through the nose. Find the belly expand. Once again, grounding our energy, connecting with the earth. Feeling that light of the sun, like we're drinking it in through the crown of the head, and it's going through the crown, down the spine, into the abdomen, then also down through the feet into the earth. And then feeling the energy of the earth like it's cycling back up through the sky to the sun and back down through the crown. Feeling yourself like a tree. Drinking in energy from the earth. Receiving energy from the sun. Feel yourself as this eternal expression, ever expanding, ever growing. And you embrace this moment, this time in your life, with all the challenges that come with your teen, as a way to heal, grow, and love on a deeper level. Well, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. I hope to see you again and that we can do this more often. So make sure to follow me and feel free to comment and message me, and hopefully we can begin to create a community of conscious parents and step parents who are healing, learning to grow with their teens, learning how to connect with ourselves and one another on a deeper spiritual level. All right. Have a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are.